Hey everybody, Corinne had a question about what's the ideal, let me get across to it, what's the largest group size you've been comfortable teaching and what age group? I think it's a really great question because the accurate answer is a very vague answer. So we know that there are teachers that, well, I've had lots of experience with teachers that are relatively new to teaching shared lessons, and even with two or three, they find that it's a whole new set of dynamics to have to work with. And as I've said in the teacher training, the size of the group isn't so much about the content, but about the management of the content and the management of the culture and the behaviour and the dynamics of the group. So main thing to remember, of course, is that the content is the same. How you deliver, the portions you deliver, the speed of delivery. Those are adjustments that need to be made, but mostly it's about managing the energy and the culture. Having said that about newer teachers that are relatively new to teaching shared lessons, some of our more experienced teachers, I used to teach groups that would be as large as 14 people, and they were phenomenally easy. So the error of judgment is in thinking that the ease of management has something to do with the size of the group, and that's not the case at all. To use an obscure analogy, you want to think of it almost like a salad. If I'm going to be putting some green leaves in the salad and some tomato and some olives and maybe some avocado or whatever the case may be. It's not necessarily the number of ingredients, but what's the proportion of the ingredients? So you could take any one salad ingredient and have way too much of that ingredient, and now everything's been thrown off, even though the number of ingredients haven't changed. And it's somewhat like that in a group. If you've got a large group where there's a great balance, a proportional balance, meaning that that's relatively easy. Everyone's of a mindset where they're on board, they're focused, they're contributing, they're working with one another, they're sharing one another. You've got people that are helping and, sort of mentoring, peer mentoring, so to speak. It can be tremendously easy, and I tend to liken that to what I call touch management, that I've only just got to do a little bit of a touch to keep the ball rolling. Very, very easy. At the same point of time, if you've got a group of 3 or 4 people and these people feel, one or two of the people feel uncomfortable around the other people, or they're more reserved or withdrawn, you don't really have the same level of participation, you can have a smaller group that's way harder to manage than a much larger group. The age blend, I think I mentioned this in the teacher training on shared lessons. It's not so much the age, although there are some principles. Just a reminder, I've found that having a young person in an older group can work very successfully. Having one older person in a much younger group, that can often be more of a challenge. The gender blend, I know some teachers don't like to mix genders. Okay, I never had an issue with that. I always enjoyed it. I would imagine it to be a different experience, and to me, it's worth trying whatever it is that you want to put together. So, really, what this is going to be about, don't make the determination about size, because if you put together a group of 6 or 8 or 10 and it's wonderfully easy, it doesn't necessarily mean that the next group of that size is going to be the same in any way, shape, or form. So, this is one of those things where you have to just experiment and see how it unfolds for you over time. Okay, thanks for the question, Corinne.